You don't know? You damn well should know. My name is Rag Reynolds, and I'm joined by self-proclaimed Australians as they're going to attempt to explain to me just why they think that Australia is a real place. Because I've made multiple videos saying that Australia is not a real place. I've made videos saying that if it was a real place, it would be the worst place on the entire planet. So, if you guys would like to state your names and just what you think, then please go ahead.
Okay, my name's Amanda. I think this whole thing is so stupid. I literally live in Australia, so like I don't know what you're trying to say here. Like I live here. I know where I live. I've been outside of Australia. That's about it.
And you, other person?
I'm Lily, and I firmly believe that Australia is real and it is not something you can just make up because we have some very special traditions.
Okay. And Maya?
Yeah, Mia.
Oh, Mia. Okay. So what do you think about Australia, and why do you think it's real?
Um, I personally know Australia's real because I was born there, and yeah, I grew up there ever since I was born till when I was 8, and yeah, so it's just my home country, and yeah, so I believe in my own home country.
But guys, are those your real accents?
Yes, this is my real accent. It's mixed with a bit of Kiwi, but
Kiwi, isn't
yeah.
that a fruit?
It's New Zealand.
Oh my gosh.
I thought a kiwi was a fruit. Since when? How can it be an accent?
Well, like a
'Cause,
kiwi is a fruit, but it's also an accent.
No, how can it be an
Yeah.
accent and a fruit? It can't be
Because that's
both.
just what it's called.
It's just a
I don't
combination,
know.
I believe, just slang.
Combination of what? A combination of nonsense?
That's rude.
Well,
That's
this isn't a time for nice talk. This is a time to get down to the facts. And the
Oh,
fact is,
okay.
you think your country is real, but it's not. You're actually living in New Zealand. You've been drugged and brainwashed.
I don't
So is it?
I've been drugged in my whole life or brainwashed. I'm quite sure I live in Australia, actually.
Well, how would you know if you were brainwashed? You're not going to know that you're brainwashed if you've been brainwashed. You're drugged.
So how long do you believe this has happened for?
How long? Since Australia was first founded by Captain Birdseye,
Okay.
which is just as legit as Captain Cook.
Which is okay. It's fair. So what is your ideas on Australia?
It's not real. That's the idea. I mean, it's pretty obvious that it's a whole elaborate hoax conducted by the government of New Zealand, because New Zealand thought that they were the worst country on earth. Little to them, they didn't realize that Brazil was a real place. If they knew that, they would have realized that there was already a worse country than New Zealand.
Okay,
So
first of all,
they
I'm gonna stop you
needed to
right
make
there.
a
I'm gonna stop
country
you.
to make
No,
out.
no, 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 no.
Okay, go on.
Why are we dissing Brazil all of a sudden? This is
Because Brazil is the second worst country in the world.
But if Australia isn't a country at all, doesn't that necessarily infer that it isn't the worst country?
Well, I'm 99% sure that Australia is not real. There is still that 1% chance, and if that
Okay,
1%
well, have you been
chance
to
is true,
Australia
then it is the worst
yourself?
country. What was that?
What is that 1% though?
Oh, that 1% is just a little bit of doubt in my mind, because there's people such as yourselves who do exist, and I find it baffling that people can be so brainwashed that they actually believe the things that you believe.
Have you been to Australia yourself?
I went to Australia a couple of months ago, and when I arrived there, I had a really, really
No, I'm serious.
terrible experience. I found out about the drug that they drug you with when you're on the flight over there, so I took some of a drug that would counteract that. Unfortunately, I didn't take enough of it, so when I was on the plane, I was kind of drowsy, but I could still see that things were going on. I never left the plane for the entire 2 weeks that I was supposed to be in Australia.
Okay,
and I
just because you had a terrible experience doesn't mean it's not real. I don't know.
Of course it means
I
it's
get
not
it, you
real.
think our country sucks, but it's still real.
How can a country with countless deadly animals and whatever else. Like, how can this actually be a real place? How can people with
I
your
don't know.
accent
There
actually
are
exist?
So-
It doesn't make
places
sense.
So let's
ugly
bring in
places,
Troy
they're
Sivan into this
still
picture.
real.
Let's bring in Troy Sivan into this picture. Okay.
Bring in
Where does he
what?
come in? Troy Sivan?
Who?
He's an Australian singer.
Oh, the
He's a
robot
famous
guy.
Yes, him. So, where does he come into this picture?
Well, it
Or
can't
the
be real
Legends
with
of
a name
Australia.
like that. I'd hope not,
Okay, but
anyway.
like I've literally seen him in person. Like he's not a robot.
How do you know? You've not seen the advanced technology that some countries have. You see the shit the Chinese are working on these days? You've no idea.
I don't. Even though robots look pretty realistic, none of them look that realistic. That's not a
So,
thing.
as far as you know, have you seen the shit the Chinese make?
But at the same time, Amanda, he has a point because like Troy's really perfect. Like
Are
he's
you
so perfect
kidding
that he can't
me?
necessarily be real.
Don't tell me you
He's
believe
perfect?
him. Oh my god.
Can someone show me a picture of this Troy?
Okay.
I'm googling it right
Wait,
now. I need to
will
see what
tweet
this loser looks like. What kind of name is
Don't
Troy
you dare call
Sivan?
me
Like,
this.
what the
I swear
fuck?
I will
That's not
hunt
even
you.
real.
There's
Ugh,
people
what? He
hangouts
looks. He's not a real person. He looks like a robot. What are you talking
What do
about?
you
How old is he?
mean? Why did
So when me and Amanda, because me and Amanda are quite into music and stuff.
Okay.
So just say that if we ever like get worldwide famous or something in like that area, what do we go and under the name of Australian or?
No, you just go under the name of delusional.
Okay,
Alright,
that was
alright.
so uncalled for. I think you're the delusional one here.
Me?
Considering you think an entire.
Do you have a question? I mean, go ahead, ask me a question. If you have a question about my beliefs, then please go for it. I'm happily to answer any
I'm
question.
so confused.
So
Why- you
before your trip to Australia, did you have any ideas or beliefs beforehand?
Well, okay.
Yeah. It's
What
like a
happened
double-way
was-
interview here.
What happened was, I originally, as I already said, I thought Brazil was the worst country in the world.
Still.
Then I discovered Australia, and I thought, hold on, I think I've been wrong my entire life. Brazil is not the worst country in the world. There is a country where people actually sound this bad. The only people that sound worse than Australians are people from South Africa. And as someone is saying in the chat, Troy Sivan was born in South Africa. So that explains a lot there as well. He wasn't born
He
in
wasn't
Australia. So I don't know why you're saying he's Australian when he was born in South Africa. Maybe that's just the way things work over there
Well,
in
it's because
crazy
he's lived
world.
there like his whole life.
He's
so,
lived
like,
there his entire life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's
Also,
South
I'm
Africa?
confused. Can I ask you a question?
What's South Africa? It's a country.
I've never
Okay,
heard of
let me-
that.
Let me
What?
ask you a question.
Okay, ask me a question. Go for
So,
it.
when you thought Brazil was the worst country, did you think that country didn't exist either? And then when you found out Australia was a real country, you're like, oh no.
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 I knew Brazil existed. I've seen undoubtable evidence that Brazil exists. It's had a
There
lot
was
of
an
impact.
Olympics there.
Yes, there
Can I-
was.
There was an Olympics, so it's proven.
Kind
Can I
of. Wasn't there an
please-
Olympics in Australia?
So what? There was an Olympics there. What if that was just literally held in another country and they called it Brazil?
Don't be
They
ridiculous. Do you know
showcased
how
street
ridiculous you
evidence.
sound?
What is street evidence? What are you saying?
Street.
Okay. I would currently like to give a shout out to at Puppy Savan, who's currently listening.
Okay.
Who just tweeted me that she's listening. Yeah.
Okay, so
Well, they're not relevant now, are they? They're not on the call.
do you have an explanation for
very
why your accents are like that?
Why is your
I was born
accent
with
like
this
your
accent, actually.
But I don't understand how people go from sounding like proper English to sounding like that. I mean,
Well, how
maybe
did
that's
you
just
go
a
from
generation
proper
of
English to
convicts
sounding
sent
like
over
that?
to
Answer
Australia
your
to
own
found the
question.
place.
You're contradicting yourself.
No, I'm
Anyway, yeah,
assuming that
it's-
Australia is real. I'm assuming that it's real just to understand what's going through your mind.
Ryan, they're reading you for your accent.
You stop that.
Okay.
But
Okay.
yeah, that's.
I have this accent because I was born with it. I don't know where it came from. I've just
Are you
had
really
it my
born
entire
with an
life.
accent?
You are. I would say you are born with it. Yeah,
I don't think so.
you're
Anyway,
born with
do you
it.
have
You
any
grow up with it.
evidence?
Evidence for
Evidence as
what?
to why your country actually exists?
Because I live here and so many people live here and have traveled here.
Okay,
I
and
go
as I already
home.
said, I travelled there only to find out there was nothing there. I never left the plane. It's not real.
I go home
But like,
every
why do
two.
you think that? Why do you think it's? I'm trying to wrap my head around why
Okay.
you think it's not real if you've
Let me start from
literally
the
been
beginning.
here.
Yes. So,
Wait,
obviously,
wait, can
because
I
you're
cut in here?
Australian,
Can
you
I
must have some issues thinking about things. So let me explain. So, I realized there is a country that is so bad. There are spiders bigger than birds. There are horrible poisonous snakes. Oh, how can a country have so many horrible animals in one place? It sounds like a bloody Dr. Seuss novel.
Okay.
I mean,
so
it's
Well,
not even real.
we are known
And
as the land of nope. That is indeed fair.
So basically,
um,
you're like what you're saying
yeah.
is Australia doesn't exist because it sounds bad. Like, yeah,
exactly. Now,
Then does
Black, you finally
necessarily
understand.
that makes
necessarily.
no
What about
sense.
the Amazon then? Like in those
The
ideas.
Amazon, is that not a website? Do you not buy things from that?
No, it is actually not.
What are you talking about?
Amanda, do you want to explain?
What were you saying?
She's talking
The
about
Amazon.
Amazon.com.
Yeah,
Not
so
Amazon.
Ryan,
there are plenty of like scary, dangerous places all over the world. I don't.
Name
So
another
don't you-
one.
The Amazon.
Literally, like you
Detroit.
just said, the Amazon.
I've never heard of that. What are you talking? I think you're making more things up. The Amazon. What bullshit is that? Have you been reading more Dr. Seuss novels? Like, what are you talking about?
Did you ever take a geography class?
A
Or are
geography
you
class?
just,
Yeah,
like,
I'm
that
great at
ignorant?
geography. I know all about rocks and shit.
So
That's geology.
I feel like
Isn't
I'm
that
losing
thing with
brain
shapes?
cells.
Maybe
Oh, that's
Ryan.
geometry. Okay.
Ryan, maybe
Oh.
they're hallucinating.
You stop with that
you're right.
accent.
You're so right.
I don't have one.
Wait,
Ugh.
Ryan. So I go home every, I'd say, a year or so, but I currently live in New Zealand now, but I've just moved here, and I go home every like a year or so, and I never get put under any of the things you're saying
How do you know?
because
Well,
I'm
like, you
conscious.
said you remember, so wouldn't Mia also remember?
Well, if someone say if someone was to drug you, right, you would and
Indeed.
it would wipe your memory. You would remember. You would know it was happening, but after it's happened, your memory's been wiped. So obviously you don't remember, and that's obviously what's been happening to you.
Well, then how did you
So
remember?
Because
this
I took a
counter
drug
drug-
that counteracted the effect.
So this
And
counteracting
you just
counteracting
happened
drug
to have
that
one?
Yes, that there
So
is a
this-
counter drug.
has this changed your perspective on life, like in a way?
Discovering that Australia wasn't real, yeah, it made me a much happier person. I was very depressed. I was very upset knowing that Australia could actually be real. So knowing that it wasn't made a huge impact in my life. I was very happy to find that out.
Well, why
So-
does it affect you?
Hallelujah.
Does that impact your level of trust on what you were being told through the media?
I mean, I already did distrust the media, but yes, even more so. I mean, they display things, news from Australia, and I'm like, that's not even real news. Why are you carrying this lie?
Who do you think makes up these, like for the media, and
Well,
makes
it's the
it
New Zealand
effective in-
government. I already
liberals.
covered that.
So New Zealand comes in as well with this.
Yeah, New Zealand created Australia.
Okay.
The myth of Australia.
So,
You don't agree?
well, the population of Australia, like if you're connecting it to New Zealand has a population of around 4 million, whereas Australia has a much larger population, and its desert alone in the center.
How can there be a
It's about-
population if it's a desert? There's nothing in a desert. There's sand, and sand's even
Yeah.
worse than fucking.
It's not a literal. It's like there's many different types of deserts, but this desert is 13 times the size of New Zealand alone. And then you include all the population of Australia included, which is I'd say about 3 times that amount. So that is not enough to hold in such a tiny country such as New Zealand.
A desert that spans that much land, you really expect me to believe that?
Well, why don't you?
Why would
What's-
I? Like,
Wait. So
What?
Ryan, what country are you from?
Scotland.
That's a secret. Never
Okay.
mind.
So, what, like, how do you know your country is supposedly? Like,
Because it's way more historically involved than Australia will ever be.
Well, that's very true. I mean, I just know that my country is real. I mean, no one would want to create Scotland. It's not the greatest country in the first place, and it's not got anything really special about it, I suppose. I mean, the only way Australia could reasonably exist is if someone made it, because it is that bad. I mean, Scotland isn't terrible, but it's not great either. No one would
Scotland
care about
sucks.
it.
Okay, let's get back.
It's a terrible
Let's get
place.
into the
I bet
topic.
it's not real.
Let's get into the topic of Aborigines. Okay, Aborigines are the most like oldest civilization in all of historical memory. So
Then why did you
Good point
wipe
is-
them out?
Yeah, why did you
exactly.
wipe them out?
You wiped them out. You wiped
You
out your
That is not my
people.
mistake. That is others.
Are you
Um,
sure?
Definite. And that, but then in New Zealand we have the Māori here, which is a much younger
what?
civilization. The Māori, which is
The
like our
what?
natives.
Could you spell that?
Maori.
Maori.
Yeah, Māori.
That's all I hear. Maori.
Maury,
Yeah, like
Yeah,
Maori.
Close enough.
the TV
Close
show?
enough. So yeah,
At least you
like,
have a
how's it-
translator here, Ryan.
Thanks.
How is there
I'm in
two
between.
civilizations of
Well,
Aboriginals and then Māori? Like,
I really don't.
how's that?
I don't know. I can't tell you that. I didn't even know these people existed. If I was to guess, I'd say they're another
So
elaborate.
maybe you should educate yourself and like learn
But-
something about
Well, how
Australia
about you
before
educate
go
yourself? And why
say
don't
it's
you
not
tell
real.
me about the Emu War? This is something that really hit a little thing in my head, and I thought, hold on, if this thing happened, then anything can be made up. So the Emu War saw Australia going up against 20,000 emus on Australia's home turf. The
Yeah.
Emu War, Emu Army suffered a loss of 2,500 emus, but they won the war. The Australians lost a war to a bunch of dumb birds.
They're savage.
Who loses?
They're very savage. I'm not
savage.
even kidding.
They're birds. Your people had guns. What's your excuse?
Well, we will not produce that violence against such innocent creatures, to be honest.
Well, you could get rid of them non-lethally. You could like capture them and get rid of them. Like what is the big deal? How can you lose a war to birds?
Okay.
By not existing at all.
Exactly. You don't exist. That's how it happened. You think
Amanda,
this
do you
is
have any
funny?
thoughts? I find it humorous in a way because I've never just seen it in this aspect, and yeah, it just seems fragile.
Well, you see, much like a Holocaust denier or a fat person who's only fat due to genetics denier, I'm an Australia denier, and I will be forever.
Okay, and I respect your opinions.
Oh, I'm glad you respect it. I don't respect yours. There's nothing to respect about it. I mean, it just doesn't exist. I'm not going to respect something that's that ludicrous. So I'm glad you respect mine. I mean, it's just a little nod in my direction. Like, thanks for enlightening me with this great theory.
I'm acknowledging it. I'm not in saying that you've enlightened me. I certainly won't say that.
She's denying it.
Yeah, that's not what I'm hearing.
I think she was just trying to be polite.
Then why is it that I had like, was it yesterday or the day before? I had countless people tweeting me saying, "Thank you for opening my eyes. Australia isn't real." I'm not sure if you two
My-
like some of those people. But
a joke.
Australia's
Like,
dead.
They weren't being
Like-
serious.
who's
Yeah,
being
well,
serious?
Agnes wasn't being
Anybody who was associated with us was not being serious. I already know that.
So, yeah, we've had many friends, colleagues, wives, girlfriends text you, and yeah, none of us were being serious.
Did you just say you had a wife when you're probably only like 14 years old?
A country that
That's a
spans an
questionable
entire continent. Yeah, fucking right. And I have a soul. Yeah, I have a soul. That's how legit that sounds. And everyone Everyone, the 7 continents are North America, South America, Africa, Asia, Europe, Antarctica, and Atlantis. There is never 8 of anything. Come on.
Why did
Snow
you just
White
say-
and the 8 Continents. I don't recall that movie with
Did you
Kristen
just say
Stewart.
Atlantis?
The sooner we
One
face
thing
reality, the sooner we can move on. from this.
Atlantis is real. There's a movie about it. I
Exactly.
don't see any about Australia.
There's a movie about the Maze Runner. Does that mean it's real? There's a movie about the Hunger Games. Does that
Absolutely.
mean it's real? No.
No, don't be
Absolutely.
ridiculous.
I
Of
wish
course,
the Maze
of
Runner
course
was
the
real.
Maze Runner
To
isn't
be
real.
extremely honest.
I mean, at least
don't
there
know how
are
we got to this
mazes in the
topic.
world, so at least it could be real. I mean, if someone runs through a maze, I
not
guess there you
real.
go. You've got the
I'm
Maze Runner, but there's nothing in Australia that's even real.
Okay, there's several movies made about this country. There's many movies made up about every country. Not a lot about Scotland, let's be honest.
There's lots
But,
about Scotland. You never seen Braveheart? Classic.
Wasn't there some type of Disney movie that took place in Scotland
Yeah,
with
there
those
was even a
vampires?
Disney movie. It was called Brave.
What?
Have you
That
ever, have
wasn't
you ever seen a
it?
movie,
No, that
a
was
Disney
that's
movie
a
set in
different movie.
Australia? No, I didn't think so.
Or you could look
There's
it up
several.
and educate yourself. Oh my God.
Indeed.
Educate myself on what? You're supposed to be here educating me. You're not coming up with any
Okay,
good
look,
points
if
here.
you
Okay.
Google movies
Listen,
filmed in Australia, you'll probably find a lot.
I found a lot of
There is a
liars. That's what
lot.
I'll find.
Or
Okay, have you
And
listened
obviously,
to any
Tom Hanks is a
music?
good representation too of mine.
Well, if you're talking about music and this Troy Sivan, then obviously, I mean, that's your idea of Australian music. Then you've already lost this one.
Well, there are several over the past century or so. There has been several icons from
Who?
Australia.
Name
Who?
one.
Okay. We've had Troy Sivan. We've had
is
who
Cody
else
Simpson
is
from
on-
Australia?
See, you can't even think
Yeah,
of another
Cody
one.
Simpson, Alex
Who?
Simpson. Shall give a song.
Who?
I don't
Australian
expect like
artists.
older people to
Cody
know
Simpson?
who's relevant these days. I know you guys are kind of out of the loop.
How-
Yeah, it
why are
seems
you
as
actually-
if.
You're
I don't-
naming things that don't even make sense. Like, what are you talking about?
Look, you
Okay.
can go online and look at these names.
What names?
Yeah. Just search up Australian musical artists, and you.
Why would I
Or
do
do you-
that?
Never heard of
I'm
them.
not going to waste my time looking at Australian musical artists when I know they're not even real.
Okay. I've never. I
They've
don't
been
think I've-
falsified.
Name me some famous Scottish.
This isn't
Well,
about
yes.
Scotland. This is about Australia.
Well,
And you know-
Obviously,
I'm just-
Ryan himself.
yeah, I'm a great singer. You know, I have so
Absolutely,
much
yeah.
disrespect for Australia in this conversation that I'm actually going for a shit right now while we're talking.
I'm honored.
Yeah.
So if you hear some water dropping, that's just me talking about our conversation, so you can respond to that.
Okay.
Okay, that
Thank
was
you.
too much information. I did not need to know that.
You're
You.
welcome.
Yeah.
Well, welcome aboard.
Extremely helpful.
Okay, so do you have any questions?
Amanda?
Why does hentai exist?
Hentai? That was
Hentai.
Japanese. You can't blame the Australians for everything, I suppose.
I'm sorry.
Okay. I have too many questions that I can't choose one. Amanda, what about you?
You can ask them all. Go, just start.
I can't choose. I can't choose.
That's because you have no questions.
Oh, okay. So, how many people have you talked to about this issue?
I mean, well, my video about how Australia isn't real has 3,000 views, so at least 3,000 people have heard this theory.
Do you think
I'm
they all
also
watched the
writing
whole
about it in
thing?
my new
Should we check your
upcoming
watch
book.
time? Can we see our demographics?
Have a look. Let me have a little look, but you can think of some other questions while I'm finding this.
Okay.
I mean, I have 3 different Australia videos, so
Okay, so how many people actually believe your nonsense?
anyone who
All of
rational, I
us.
suppose.
Okay, stop. No, don't.
Okay.
don't.
I would beg to differ on that fact. Thank you.
Why?
because
Wrong.
it's so fragile.
What does all of us even mean?
It's so fragile. There's no backup evidence. Yeah.
Well, you can find everything you need at forums.ragreynolds.net.
That's
you
true as
kidding
well.
me?
Okay.
That's where everything is. That's our whole life.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Just
What is your name?
Just
Kendall?
in the last 28 days, there has
My
been
name is Sister Milky
821
Juicy.
minutes watched of this
I'm
video
not gonna
about
call you
why
that.
Australia isn't real. In the last 28 days.
All right. So you've had intense research on
Of
Australia,
course.
have you? Of course.
Yeah, I've done a lot of
Then how do
research.
you not know about these simple facts about
What
like
facts?
these simple facts just about general knowledge of Australia?
Such as?
Just such as that there's a desert.
Well, I knew there was a desert. I mean,
And my ass
Oh.
is blacked.
I mean, what it really is,
Mhm.
because
probably
you're
is.
delusional and everything's actually inside New Zealand. What the desert actually is, it's just like a sandbox in the middle of like a kid's park. Like that's all it really is. But you just think it's bigger.
Okay, tell me what you know about New Zealand then.
But I
Let's
don't know
rephrase
all
that.
that much about New Zealand. I just know that the founder
Obvious.
of New Zealand was a
Doesn't that
very.
one? Wait, what's that
Hmm?
one movie?
Well, if Australia is supposedly New Zealand, so
Well, no, Australia isn't New Zealand. Australia was created inside New Zealand. Basically, they took
Australia
an
is a part
abandoned
of.
city. Yeah, they took an abandoned city inside of New Zealand, and the New Zealand government set it up and put people in there and made them think that it was a whole country of its own. They drugged them up.
Do you really
And-
think New Zealand cares enough to go through that whole thing? Because I should.
Well, yeah,
We're a
that's the
pretty
whole
small
point.
country. Not a lot of people care about us, eh?
They,
Like,
they
fuck
did
New
it.
Zealand.
The reason they did it is because New Zealand thought they were the worst country in the world. It was a time before we had communications. No one could see each other on the internet.
When
And they
when
thought,
does
oh
this
no,
happen? When
if
was
some other country
Australia-
comes and
when
discovers
was
us, they're
Australia
going to
made?
hate us. So let's make somewhere worse. If they had only known about Brazil, they wouldn't have.
Okay.
had to do it.
If
was
Australia was
Australia
made
made?
before New Zealand, how does this work?
No, it wasn't. New Zealand was there before Australia.
No, Australia was much earlier, like
That's
a
just
much
part of the
earlier
conspiracy.
civilization.
It's to make you think that. It didn't happen. I mean, right?
It's-
Who founded Australia?
Nobody founded Australia. It's always been there.
Okay, who discovered Australia?
Pardon?
Who's this in the
Who
background?
discovered Australia?
Who discovered Captain James Cook?
Yes, exactly. And that sounds to me as legit as Colonel Sanders or Captain Birdseye. Not real.
Or Captain Crunch?
Who's captains? Okay.
Naming people that have captain before their name doesn't make them like not real. I don't. What?
Well,
I'd
yeah,
like
it
to
does.
give a
What do you think about Captain Jack Sparrow, Captain Blackbeard, Captain
Okay,
Hook?
yeah, those are people.
mean,
with
Which
Which
are
are
known
characters
fiction.
with
It is
captain,
known
but-
fiction.
And just like Captain Cook.
No.
I'd like to give
no.
a shout out to our dear friend Heidi, Yu Official. She says that she'd like to have a shout out, and she's currently listening.
Is she Australian?
And where is she now in this?
She's currently in
She's on our
America.
side.
Oh,
Why
okay,
She's
so
on
she's
our
not
side in
Australian.
this idea. Mm.
Okay, so what is your favorite thing about so-called Australian culture?
Just the people, to be
The
honest. People, the music.
Seriously? I mean,
How does that
I
make
have-
them Australian?
I have grandparents who have family all over Australia. Well, they claim to.
What defines you as your nationality?
Hold on. They claim to have family all over Australia, and they have told me that they have visited Australia on numerous occasions. And I have been told from a good source that Australia would be a great place if it wasn't for the Australians.
That doesn't mean Australia itself is not necessarily real.
Yeah, that has nothing to do with anything.
I just thought I would tell you that little story.
But at the same time, what are the qualities of an Australian?
Well, these
what
annoying
makes it-
accents for
What
one.
makes it or break it? Yeah, the accent, maybe.
So stop impersonating it.
Yeah, I commonly find that our accent does define us. Shrimp on Barbie
And that's
define
it.
us.
Well,
Lost, but-
we can have that here.
Yes, but could you ever really have the same accent? Could you really ever have the same country, the same people, the same enthusiasm that we have? Our rivalry with New Zealand. Why would New Zealand make up a rivalry if it was their own country?
Well, America still has a rivalry with the North and the South, so I don't see your point anymore.
What is
The
that?
North and
What
the
are you
South
saying?
Islands. North and South
I
Islands
meant
have no
America.
rivalry.
I meant America.
Yeah?
Now that's a good rivalry.
No one asked.
I didn't
That's
even know there
irrelevant
was
to
a
this
rivalry
conversation.
between North and... Yeah, that's got...
Have you ever heard of slavery?
Okay, that's still irrelevant. I don't know why you're
Yes,
bringing
it's
this
still
up.
irrelevant.
Because we're not talking about. I don't even know what you're trying to talk about, but like it's completely irrelevant.
I'm trying to
this
discuss how Australia has no purpose in this now. Thank you.
But isn't this entire interview about...
Australia?
Yeah.
And we're disproving it.
With what? Talking about slavery in America? Because that's not helping your side at all.
It's not
You weren't
relevant.
You sound
listening.
ignorant and uneducated.
Ignorant and educated. Thank you.
You're welcome.
You're welcome. So what are your
Ryan,
straight up facts here?
we'll give Ryan a moment. He'll be here.
Ryan's on mute currently, from what I can see.
Well, I don't have the app open. I'm sorry, princess. I'm living for this drama in the background, though.
On which one?
Yours?
I
or
don't know.
background?
On mine. Oh, I live at a boarding hostel, so everything's sort of dramatic.
Oh, Lily is back.
Well, all right.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
I might cut out. So I have to refresh. So do you have any actual facts here, or are you just going to keep going around in
Well,
circles?
Your ones aren't facts. Yours are experiences that are extremely far-fetched.
How can my experiences be far-fetched? You're contradicting yourself there.
How can my experiences be far-fetched since I live
Because you're
in
drugged
this
and
country?
delusional and brainwashed. That's why.
I've been drugged and delusional for 14 years. Are you saying this? 14 to
Oh,
15
good
years.
Lord. These are 14-year-olds? Okay, that
We still have...
Oh,
still-
no,
oh my
ma'am. No,
God.
you do not. No, you do not. Do not continue that sentence with your age at the moment in this time. You will stop right there. You will wait until it's your turn to speak until you age about 6 or so more years. Thank you.
Wow. Okay. Wow. I love how you guys are the ones laughing with this.
Because we're
I've
not
never
the ones
seen a more
insulted,
immature
dear.
pair
Because
of
we're not the
adults,
delusional
but
ones that
people
think Australia is
supposed to be
real.
adults. You guys are so
When
immature.
you're not the delusional ones here. I'm sorry.
Ah, yes, because I'm the immature one.
Yeah, you're the ones laughing at two.
You're probably twice our age, and you're just as delusional and insane.
Oh,
And
yes, because I'm
clearly
a 30-year-old
uneducated.
with nothing else
We
to
know-
Uneducated, thank you.
Yeah.
We know all these facts. You have nothing. You've experienced
What
this.
fact?
What is
You're not
this?
giving me facts. Name a fact. Do you know what a fact is?
You didn't even know there was a national. Okay, yeah.
Here's a
define
fact
me.
for you. Here's a fact for you. A kiwi is a piece of fruit. There you go. That's a fact. I give you a fact. You give me a
Wait,
fact.
Ryan, did you see the comment I made earlier? Oh dear, are they getting their friends in on this? Earlier I said
Oh,
Achilles.
I have a fellow Kiwi here.
What are you talking
Who's
about?
also on Twitter. Okay. Say hi.
Bonjour.
Bye.
Since when do Australians speak French? Another reason why they're not real. There you go.
We're bilingual. We're very talented.
Yeah, the 14-year-old's more educated than the 30-year-old.
You're bisexual? Is that what you just
I'm
said?
not 30 years old. I'm actually 70.
She just left.
What does being bisexual have to do with speaking French?
Bilingual?
Ryan, don't call me out like that.
Bye.
I'm insulted.
Wow. Great knowledge here.
I'm glad you appreciate my knowledge. Finally, you're
Wait, Anna,
recognizing-
are you watching the live right now? What's the live right now? Oh, what a shame. Mm.
My God, you're so
So,
insolent.
do you have any genuine facts here to back up that my country is non-existent?
Yes.
Okay. Because you have stated none. You've stated experiences which are extremely fragile, saying that you've been drugged
Blah,
And that I've
blah,
been
blah, blah.
for my entire life. Cool.
I love it when the children get riled up.
Oh yeah. So you
It makes
actually.
my wrinkles get crinkly.
This is insane. This is actually insane.
Well, I think your accent alone is proof enough that Australia isn't real.
Why are you so blind? I'm quite blind.
My accent enough. Okay.
Quite literally, though.
Yeah.
So what does my accent got to do with any of this? How does that prove? How does my
Because
accent simply
a
prove?
real, if a civilization was real, they would never allow themselves to have such accents. They just wouldn't speak ever.
I'm
They
sorry,
would stop speaking.
we
Cut out their tongues.
Sorry, we're proud of how we speak.
I
Proud
don't
of
know
how
why
we
you should
speak.
be.
I don't know why you should be proud of yours either, honey. To be honest.
He never said he was.
You did.
I don't have, I'm not using my real accent, but now
You
I
have
am.
you have an accent.
But I've been using
You
a
can't
fake
deny that.
voice.
So you've been lying. Is that what you're telling me? You're telling me you've been lying
You've
with a
had-
fake accent.
You've had the same
Well,
one. the
Ryan,
entire
why would I
time.
use my real accent when I can use this one?
Oh
Because
well, one of your friends
bisexual is
left. There's
leaving.
only one of you now.
No, I said blind.
The bisexual's leaving. I was not saying you.
Oh.
Bye.
don't even.
I think she's just extremely astonished
Astonished
about
by
this
what?
situation.
The facts?
by your insanity.
She's
Okay?
finally realized that Australia isn't real. This is a win for me. She finally realized. She
Oh.
gave up.
Oh no, trust me, Anna fully believes Australia is real.
I doubt that. If that was
Okay.
true, she'd have said otherwise.
Several friends of hers who are in fact Australian. I am proud to be one of those.
You're proudly Australian? No, that's a whole nother level of crazy.
No, Ruby, I'm not bisexual. I'm gay. But okay. Sorry.
Disgusting. Back in my day with your story.
Sometimes I heard you rolling over a boy. Yeah. Yeah. The
Okay.
amount of times I've heard that, I would.
Okay, Ruby, I'm on a call right now.
Yeah, she's on a call, so be respectful and shut your mouth.
Oh, I'm sorry that you invited me onto this. I'm sorry.
I'm
Yeah,
not.
and you're the one who has the power
Okay.
to, click off too.
Yeah, and I have to click off now because I have to hand my stuff in. So good night. Great banter.
Banter? This isn't banter. This is an exchange of facts.
This is
and
a whole
lies.
bunch of
Facts are
no.
coming
This
from
is a whole
me.
bunch of lies, and I
Yeah,
am
from
not
you.
going for
You're
it.
the liar. You just
Oh.
admitted it. Lies are coming from you. Thank
me.
you.
A tip on the
Me.
internet when you're
Mhm.
a child is you
Thank
don't need to
you.
show you're riled up like this. Otherwise, we wouldn't do this to you.
Okay, so I'm just gonna say a few words before
yeah.
I hang up because I'm about to hang up.
Okay.
I hope
Unnecessary.
Yeah, I'm also.
Okay.
so. I just hope you two can one day I feel so bad for you that you guys are this
I feel
delusional,
terrible.
My friend
and I
is
hope you
just,
can
he
get
just
help.
found out
Like
he's going
I'm
to Johnny's
just
Rugby and he
baffled.
won't.
But I hope you guys can get some sort of help
want me to
because
get your phone
I
for
think
you?
you guys need it.
Okay.
And
I
I'm gonna say
I
goodbye.
genuinely pray for you.
You mean genuinely?
Oh, and there's one person left. This
And they're
Lily
probably not paying
person.
attention anyway. Who's Lily?
Are you gonna speak?
No, they're not.
You have 5 seconds, or I'm kicking you out as well. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Eject.